Did the Village of Rhinebeck just ban short-term vacation rentals? Yes, in my opinion, they did. I'm Joel Craig. I'm your guide to Hudson Valley lifestyle and real estate, and we'll talk about that issue and how it's affecting surrounding communities in the Hudson Valley. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe to Hudson Valley lifestyle and real estate so you can see more videos that as we put them out there. And if you have any comments, feel free to share. So about a decade ago, we saw the sudden rise of short-term vacation rental sites like Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, etc. And they kind of caught local communities by surprise. They weren't really ready to deal with this change in the way that people wanted to use their properties. And now they're trying to catch up and regulate them. Initially, they were great for the homeowner who perhaps was struggling to pay their exorbitant property taxes, or the second homeowner who wasn't on the property all the time and who could make use of it and make a few extra dollars to, again, help pay for the upkeep of their property. And a lot of these homeowners renovated their properties, spent a lot of money to make them attractive to short-term rentals, which employs local contractors and which raises the value of the properties. And of course, there will be some issues. The neighbors may not like it, the places need to be regulated and so forth. So full disclosure, I'm a realtor here in Rhinebeck. I was also in the community in which I live. I was a town supervisor, town board member, planning board chairman, and I chaired the committee that wrote our local zoning laws. So I see both sides of the issue. I understand that you need to regulate these, and in fact, I agree they should be regulated. You should have a register of short-term rentals. They should be inspected regularly to make sure that they're safe. So some regulation is definitely necessary, and I'm all for that. And they may not be appropriate in all neighborhoods. That's true too. So let's try and make some fair regulations to control them. So in September of 2019, the Village of Rhinebeck adopted new legislation on short-term rentals, and we're going to delve into that a little bit. I'm going to kind of pick it apart and show you some of the things that really don't make sense to me in terms of dealing with the issue of short-term rentals. The legislation defines short-term rentals, and it does a good job at that, but at the very end of the definition, it says a qualifying property must be the owner's primary residence. So all you secondary homeowners, and I think there's a few of you in Rhinebeck, you can check out right now. Thanks for watching the video, but Rhinebeck does not want you to use your property as a short-term vacation rental. And the law further goes on to limit to a maximum of 15 permits in the village, which will be decided by a public lottery on an annual basis. So this is a little strange to me because it doesn't define who's going to be doing the lottery or when it's going to be. Is the village council going to do it? Is the zoning enforcement officer going to do this lottery? And when will it be? Is it going to be like in October? When you've got the coming year and you're already taking bookings and you're already set up when you find out whether you can actually do this for the next year? What is the whole process? None of that is defined here. So in my mind, this really is not a good section of law. And if you're one of the lucky 15 to actually get a permit out of this lottery, you better hope that the guy down the street didn't get one before you, because no permit will be allowed for any lot located within 2 lots from where the current permit has been issued from a public lottery draw. So like I said, if you're one of the lucky ones but you're late in the draw, you could get knocked out by the guy down the street. And that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. So I'm going to read this next bit to you, and it sounds like it's a little conflicting to me. A notice of the application prior to issuance of a permit shall be provided to adjoining property owners within 250 feet of the property on which the permit has been issued. So exactly when do you notify the owners that are 250 feet from your property? It says notice of the application prior to issuance of a permit shall be provided. And then it says property on which the permit has been issued. I'm not quite getting that. And who notices the property owners? Is it the village? Is it you? Do you send a letter? Do you knock on the door? Again, it's very vague as to how this is going to be carried out. So it would be really easy to put in this law that if you're not going to be on the property, on the premises, if you're going to be more than 2 hours away from responding, should the municipality have to get hold of you and should there be an issue, that you have to appoint someone in your stead that can be there. But instead they complicated it a little more. They said an owner leaving Dutchess County overnight during the rental period must engage the services of an agent. So if I'm across the river in Kingston, 15 minutes away, I have to do this. But if I'm down in East Fishkill, an hour away, as long as I'm in Dutchess County. You see what I'm saying? Why complicate things? You can make things very simple and just say, if you're not going to be on the premises, you have to have somebody there who can take care of the issues. The law goes on to limit the number of days which you can use for short-term vacation rentals to 16 in a calendar year, and you have to have 7 days between rentals. So that really puts the crimp on people who want to rent their property. It really kind of kills them during the prime season if you have to wait 7 days. And it's really a misunderstanding of short-term rentals, because a lot of short-term rentals, the people want to come up for, say, a week. Have a family vacation, or maybe it's a business person who's in the area and wants to stay, and limiting to 16 in a year. If you have 2 week-long rentals, you're done, basically. So this really puts economic burden on any host who's thinking about doing this. And so there's a couple other provisions in this that make it really difficult for a homeowner to engage in short-term rentals. And one of them reads like this. Basically, there shall be no change permitted to the residential character of the outside appearance of the building, either by use of colors, materials, or lighting. So is that saying that for as long as you hold a permit for short-term rentals, you can't paint your house a different color, add new siding, put in a little bit of accent lighting to make it safer for your guests? Yeah, that's kind of strange. The other one that goes along with this is any required additional parking shall not be allowed in front of the principal structure by expanding use of an existing driveway. So you're really not allowing people to make provisions for additional vehicles. They're going to either jam up the driveway or park on the lawn, or I don't know. Usually when you have a use like this and you're trying to mitigate the effects, you want to allow people to do things to mitigate those effects. But this is just really telling you that, sorry, you got to make it work with what you got. And again, this is a little bit strange and very limiting to someone who's thinking about hosting short-term rentals. So there you have it. What's effectively a ban on short-term vacation rentals in the Village of Rhinebeck. It's discriminatory. Second homeowners cannot use their property in the same way that full-time homeowners can. It's arbitrary. There's some sort of lottery system, so you never know whether you're going to be able to do short-term rentals in the following year. And it's not economically viable for hosts because of the lottery system, where you don't know what the future holds, and because of the limit of the number of days when you can rent your properties. So as I was making this video, the town of Rhinebeck released their draft, and I was hoping it would be a little more reasonable. We're going to make another video on that. We'll see just where they fall on this. So here's my advice to any other local communities that are thinking about regulating them. You really need to get a lot of public input to start with, and you need to make your laws very simple and clear. And you need to punish the people who do not do a good job of hosting, and you need to reward the people who keep their places very clean, who have great guests, and who are really an asset to the community. And whenever you make a law, I always like to think about what is the scope of the issue that you're trying to deal with and what is the severity. And I really think you need to look at that. What type of people were coming to Rhinebeck for short-term vacation rentals? Was it a bunch of frat boys on spring break, or is it some senior citizens coming for the Sheep and Wool Festival. There's a big difference in how you respond to that. And so I would just urge that other communities that are thinking of this really think through what you want. And if you don't want short-term vacation rentals, then just come out and say, we're not going to have short-term vacation rentals. Don't draft things like this that really have a lot of nonsense and make you jump through hoops and in essence are a ban on what you're trying to do. And if you're a property owner or you're someone who's planning on buying a home in the area and using it for short-term vacation rentals, I would caution you to be very diligent in your research as to what the laws are in the community and what the proposed laws are in the community. I would hate to see someone spend a lot of time fixing up their property or to buy a property with the intention of using it as short-term vacation rental and find out that they can't, or that they're so limited that it's just not viable for them. This is Joel Craig for Hudson Valley Lifestyle and Real Estate, and please feel free to share your thoughts and comments with me, and stay tuned for our video on the town of Rhinebeck's legislation dealing with short-term rentals.